right. Um, you know, let me know how you doing. Welcome aboard. And we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna talk about this Tyrese Halliburton thing with his father and that in nonsense. And when you storming the court and you comforting, conform, from bringing your energy to somebody, the unnecessariness of it. So we're gonna talk about that. Let me turn this thing on real quick. Let me talk about this real quick. You'll know what I'm talking about if you watched that game last night with Indiana and Milwaukee, and that was just embarrassing. Let me get some stuff going real quick. Because I'm gonna get into it as soon as I can. I got this premiere coming on here. Yeah, it's something I'm just trying to send out all the feeders so people who want to watch the show know that I'm here live this afternoon. It could be morning, it could be afternoon, it could be early Thursday. Let me know where you're coming from, the last day of April. But I thought I would bring this here and talk about it because it was something that was definitely. Want to talk about it. So we are definitely here right now. But yeah, this thing with him and Giannis was beyond embarrassing. The parents and the relatives and the people. John Morant's father did this mess in L.A. and that whole thing with the Lakers and of course Shannon Sharp and all that mess. When you pay a ticket, you know that the competition is going to be extreme, but you don't need no added on. LeBron James's mother did that too, and LeBron had to check her. So it's just that you have to make sure that people are in context and in proper respect. It is a game going on. No, like when Matt Barnes got in trouble for going at that ref and all that mess. Learn how to keep your energy and your anger gathered. When you do this sort of thing, um, you know, I think it was embarrassing. I think it was embarrassing. I think that there is no if and buts about it. I think that people have to understand that they're going there as spectators. They're going to see the games being played. It's not about them. It's just like the refs. Sometimes people lose track of that. But whatever you do, it's got to be sportsmanlike. You have to show respect to the opponent. People are playing hard. No one's out there to try to take you out. It's a game. At the end of the day, we dap up, we go on our way. You know. So, hello, how are you today? How are you? I heard your first time. Hello, how are you? Yes, I said hello to you. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. Where are you coming from today? And thank you for coming through. I think you are the first person to come through today, and it's good to have someone come through. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Where are you coming from today? Appreciate you stopping through. I never know when people are going to come through. It is a great day, and I'm going to be on here for probably like an hour. I got to go and get some of this sunshine. Hello, how are you? Hello, hello. I got you the first time. Thank you. Um, who looks sad? Who looks sad? I hope that's not how you're greeting somebody out of the blue that you don't even know. I'm fine. How are you? Do I need to smile? What's up? What you mean? Who are you to say someone looks sad? No one's looking sad. They're looking good. What are you talking about? I'm fine. I never know where people are coming from because sometimes people jump on forums and then they have an opinion about something that, yeah, we are, without knowing the circumstances. And I hope that people aren't trolling. By the way, if you're coming in here, please hit the likes up. And if you want to take the poll, if you understand what the poll is about, let me know. If you saw the ending of that Indiana Milwaukee basketball game last night, which went into overtime, and how the Bucks choked that game away, I don't know. I don't know if you're that ball went through Trent Jr.'s hands. It just was not meant for Milwaukee to win. And Giannis has got to feel like, man, the world is trying to pile on him, and it's crazy. So anyway, to be confronted by that by Halliburton's father in the game was crazy and wild, and for his father to get up in him like that was a bit extreme. There is no regard. And again, what I liked about it is this. I don't want anyone to say, well, because people are younger that they acting like that. The guy's old enough to know better to be storming the court like that. He was out of his everlasting mind with that mess. So what's up, Jay Will? Thank you for coming through. Some normality for the reality. Come and join me and please comment too because I'll be here for another 40 plus minutes. And I need some comments on this situation. So far, no one thinks that Halliburton's father was embarrassing. That's interesting. I think it was one of the most embarrassing things I've seen. I don't understand it, but again, I didn't write it, so what do I know with it? Anyway, people are coming through right now, so it's starting to warm up and percolate. Hope everybody's having a good day. This last day in April, we're going to see what we're dealing with, what we're rolling with. So, looking forward to thoughts and comments. I think that's more out of frustration. You know, that Milwaukee has done him dirty and done a disservice. And he's stuck with Doc Rivers. So between that, stuck with Kyle Kuzman, it's embarrassing. I think I don't know. I can't say I got behind him. I think he's a great talent. I know he doesn't subscribe to the American point of view of go along, get along. I think the fact where he came from when he looked like he was going to be a bench warmer and he becoming one of the best players in the league, been top tier. It's not hard for me to get behind. It's just that he made a mistake, either staying in Milwaukee. That's not good enough. That ball went through his legs. That was a blown game. You can't blow a 7 point lead in 30 seconds. That's embarrassing. But that's Doc Rivers. And that's part of the Doc Rivers syndrome. And they have gone down. I would too, but that's been so long ago that Kawhi should have stayed in Toronto. That's the only way I could say that Kawhi is not coming back. It's not there anymore. It comes in spurts, but it can't come to where it was. And I know what you mean, but it comes in spurts. It's not there because last night they got their butts waxed, and Jamal Murray would tore their behind up, and they're not coming back in this series. They might win Game 6, but they're not beating Denver, and he can't do enough. You can't miss 80 games and come back for 2 or 4, and then just it just not there. But I understand what you're saying. And yeah, had he stayed in Toronto, I don't think Giannis wins a ring. Because I think with Sock'em and Van Fleet and them, that was a scary team that could have won at least another ring. And it would have been a contender for next 3 or 4 years with a healthy Kawhi. And I think going to the Clippers was one of the worst mistakes he made, personally. So just gonna say it like that. Things happen though. You gotta kind of wonder about it, but it just happens like that. But anyway, you said you take peek. All right, please go keep on with these comments now. We're getting quiet now. I just got on here, so 6 votes so far. Interesting. 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 So we got a pretty good one situation. So yeah, I like Kawhi a lot. So you're not argue. I'm not gonna argue with you on it. No argument with me on that. It's just that you know they're not supposed to beat them. He has a super team in Denver. I don't want no one coming at me talking about Jokic don't have no help. Don't pull that LeBron mess on me. Shoot, if Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. and Bron play like that and Jamal Murray plays with Jokic, who should beat them? There's no excuse to Mike Malone getting fired, and there's no excuse for they lost chippy games. They lost fundamental games that a team that's been together for a run should know better. Do you realize if they win half those games, they're where the Rockets are, and they probably get 60 wins? They didn't even go hard, and they still got 50 wins. So imagine if they put a little more effort in, 5, 10 more wins. They're where the Rockets are. That was embarrassing. Yeah, if they play, yeah, I say Jamal Murray when he plays like he's supposed to, he's one of the 12, 15 best players in the league. He just doesn't bring it like that. That's the thing. He's another one of them if I feel like it. And he gets in the postseason and he's another beast. But you don't get the totality out of him. He's frustrating as all get out. I know. But it's not just him. It's Aaron Gordon. It's also Michael Porter Jr. They got a front court that, hey, can inside out you with the best of them. So I don't understand why they have these laps and why they play so nonchalant or sluggish or everything is so tough. Because if they played at their best, they're beating most teams. That's why Jokic should be more dominant than he is. That triple double he had last night, that Jason Kidd type of triple double should be on every night thing without trying hard. 13, 13, 13. Because if those guys, if any of those three cats step up, they're spanking your behind. If Jamal Murray busts 25, 35, Aaron Gordon busts 15, I think if you play your team, should go down. Here's how tough is like a sports scientist. I need to kind of understand what you mean by that. I'm trying to understand. It's an interesting take. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. But yeah, Murray is, but they're frustrating though. I'm not a Nuggets fan like that, so I don't have. I just call it like I see it. They are a. That's a dominant team that just underachieves. That's all. At their best, if they played up to what they got, OKC, they in that conversation. They got the kind of squad that could come out the West. But sometimes they get caught napping and loafing, and then they get caught with off games, and that's one of their that's the problem. Not consistent. All right, now we got some more people in here, so please hit that like up, hit that subscribe, hit them likes up. Let's take these questions. Let's see what we're working with. welcome everybody for coming through. I will probably be on, and I'm already saying it because I got another 45 minutes in here, but I'll probably be on tomorrow as well. I think I'll do the whole week. We're going to go from end of April to beginning of May. Okay, see, in six. You got to remember something. Golden State, because of the fact that Jalen Green ain't, I mean, he's on a milk carton. Steph is playing good, but they got to give up so much on the perimeter. They got to give up so much, and this is against a Houston team that has Shagun, Jalen Green, and Van Fleet. They are a 2.5 man offensive team. That's not gonna cut it against OKC. OKC is built different. They built different. So OKC has got more going for it. I can say that Butler and Curry can probably steal a game, maybe two. But they're not going to get this kind of situation. Houston is young and green. Udoka's got the right blueprint to ugly it up and get physical. They just ain't got no. If your main guy is scoring 8 and 9 points after having a 38-point game, you're not going to do nothing because if he cracks 15 points, they win that game. And he's riding the pine for the last 5 minutes at crucial time, pouting and mounting. They need an offensive force in Houston, and that's what's really hurting them, keeping them back right now. They get one piece to complement what they got. They coming out the West because I think their defense is physical enough to pretty much mess with anybody, and they're even tempered enough with what they got. They just don't have the offense. That's their problem. That's what you're seeing right here. That's the reason why they lost to Golden State. Can't finish. You know, and when you see Bazimski scoring like that, Butler scoring like that, you know, it's messing with them because they don't have the firepower to counter. It's funny because we're in an era where there's more offense, but yet a lot of these teams don't have it. That's what's messing with Detroit. That's an even series with them and the Knicks. But if you ain't got the offensive firepower, when you come on somewhere, you please introduce yourself, but don't disrespect nobody. You either say hello, how are you, but you don't come up with no stupid questions like that, and that is dumb. And I'm gonna have to take that off because that's got troll potential. So I'll see how this goes the next way. Please don't come on here trolling because if you come on here trolling, I am going to take you off. I got no time for that mess. Somebody come here asking stupid questions with stupid agendas, just trolling. Anyway, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, come on through. If you got something you would like to talk about, let's do it. I got this a long time ago as a gift. It was offered from an African woman's store. I'm gonna call cap on that. If Hakeem Olajuwon controlled it like that, then how come he struggled so much in the postseason? No one ever looked at Hakeem Olajuwon. I think. I mean, I can make a case that he was. Listen, he was a more athletic player than Bird. I'll give you that. But even Wilt Chamberlain in his book, who's run the asylum, didn't feel that Hakeem Olajuwon mentally was that deep. I don't either. He did not control the game like no Michael Jordan. Stop with the cap, Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. It was an African woman that I bought to her shop, bought a long time ago. It was a very she was a very spiritual woman. And once I put it on, I never wanted to take it off. It meant that much to me. Look, I like Akeem a lot, but he didn't control the game. Europe here, he had some great games. He's a great player. Okay, Elijah on some people's all time top 10, at worst top 15. Okay, but it wasn't no Larry Bird, and he wasn't no Michael Jordan. Bird paced you and got you in ways and got others involved. And when we talk postseason games, you know, stop with the cap. I like the Keem a lot, but stop with the cap. Stop capping. And he don't even mention it with Jordan. Talent aside, do you believe in Terry? I've watched some of them, especially when it comes to celebrities, entertainers, sort of thing. There's certain things I do. There's some truth to it. Depends on who we talking about. But sometimes the rabbit out of the hat is right there in front of you. You depends on what we're talking about. Depends on who you're looking for. If you're asking me about the Diddy case, well, the reading on that is pretty simple. It's one of them situations he gonna do some time. Now it's the question of can he prove something, or do they want to hear it, and will he get flipped, or will it just be a situation where he just has to take it for the whole situation? Depends on what we're talking about. If you want to do a tour reading if Luka Doncic is a good fit for the Lakers, it depends on what your tarot reading is on that. But no, on a different note, people use it for different things. Spiritually, they say it's not good to do that. I watched it. Uh, Only reason why I can attribute to that is because I've lived life. Well, it's a fact that they don't put ugly people to read your readings, and that's always been the case because it's always about TNA. So you do the math. Some of it be on point. There have been some men who've done it. There was a cat who did a who does numbers. He's really good. Actually, he came on the Storm and Row show. He did like a numbers reading. I don't know why he'd want to as long as LeBron James is there. That's what that means in English. There's two things to take in mind, and I'm gonna go into it real quick. He might not be feeling JJ Redick. He might not be feeling LeBron James. He don't not necessarily want to be part of Bronny James, and he wants a team that will reflect what he does in his styling. They need a front interior that is not guard oriented, that rides on the perimeter and just athletic. They need some people who got some hands. They need some bodies. They need some smashing. That's just not what they're built like. That's not his team. Can you not hear me? If you can hear me, give me a one, because Jay Will can hear me good as day. So that's the problem. Oh, all right. I got a feeling that if they, this ain't really, this here is an exhibition. It's an audition. But if they don't build around him, he won't want to stay. And especially if he's got to put up with LeBron James another more than another year, because uh, that's not what you want. You got to pass the baton. There's a way that they do things. And it doesn't really fit because LeBron needs a low post presence at this stage. That's why AD is going to be missed in this series. Regardless of what happens in the series against Minnesota, they miss AD. They don't have someone who can create easy buckets, and they got tired. I do commentate on a wide variety. If you ask Jay Will, who's on here right now, I talk about a wide variety of topics. We talk about entertainment, politics, music, religion, relationships, spirituality. There's a wide range of topics. It just depends on which way the topic of discussion goes at the particulars. That's all. Right now, we just happen to be having about that. Thank you very much. This is a hat I had for a while. Actually, I'm rocking it in reverse. That's all. That's why it looked like it do. I'm wearing it backwards. I'm doing like how you do a ball cap or something. I'm doing it with a hat. I had a windy day, and I was in the wind, and it was breezy, and I put the cap to the back, and it stuck. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep it like that. So sometimes I wear the hats to the back. They won one more game in the finals if that's his logic. Negligent. I heard of it, but not offhand. Um, they lost to the Houston Rockets. He didn't have to go against no Elijah one. He didn't have to go against no Clyde Drexler. No, but you didn't look that good against Kobe and them either. You had a chance to steal game two. There was that inbounds pass that I forgot what happened, but he didn't exactly dominate that series either. Thank you very much. I decided to rock it like this, so that's what I was doing. Appreciate you. I don't know if I'd say better because you win one more game. Find out Turgaloo was juicing up. Was Turgaloo better than Nick Anderson? Did the Magic have anything on the perimeter? You want you well? You can go. I don't need no jive trash turkey coming here. Coming here talking some trash. They had yeah, they had a better starting five that '95 team. If I was comparing the two, Olajuwon was scary back then. So Olajuwon over Powell. Kobe Drexler, that's an interesting debate. Kobe played great. That probably was his best finals. But if I had to put it in perspective, I'd have to say Hakeem and Clyde. I think more people still talk about that series against Orlando than they would about LA beating Orlando. Plus the fact that Dwight Howard ended up going to LA a couple years later. Think about it. I guess it is because I got it as a from a woman's shop and African woman who gave me the story, and it's been some years. Been some years since I rocked it. Well, I've never ever had that discussion before about Powell. I might make that J Will into a future video. But Dwight Howard then asked something that I don't even know if that would even be fair to the parties. But Kobe and Powell definitely, you know, because I don't think no one looks at them as a dynamic duo. So that's a good one. I will definitely get back. Interesting observation. What's up with you? Why don't you just stick to the fact that you Jimmy Butler, and he did do good, and he came up big. The defense was the key. He played great. He played great. But as great as he was, it still comes down to the fact that Jalen Green was a no-show. It still comes down to the fact that Houston does not have an offensive weapon. That's what it comes down to. That's not even close to the truth. He did, well, underrated defender. He definitely could defend you. See, Dwight never had an offensive game, so he can't really talk. He talked too much for a guy who never had an offensive game. Only if he did. LeBron is not even close to no GOAT status. So stop with that mess. Stop. Because if that's your argument, then what about when LeBron quit on Cleveland and his owner called him out on it? Then he went to Miami. Come on now. Then he quit on Miami and he went back to Cleveland. Come on now. You don't really want to do that. Now, it's true that I don't have Jordan as the GOAT either because he lost to that. However, he didn't have a super team. Because who was a super team on that first run with him and Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and Paxson? Where was the super team at? They're not a super team. Don't get the two mixed up. Michael Jordan did not team up with a Magic Johnson or with a Larry Bird or with an Isaiah Thomas. So don't even go there with that once. LeBron James didn't work with everybody that had a top type of situation at some form of capacity. We go from with the Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh, to Kyrie Irving, to Kevin Love. Then we get to Anthony Davis, Kyrie, all that. So come on now, don't. And now with Luca, that's somebody that didn't have been stashed in cash with it. Jordan didn't have that. Dennis Rodman was great, but that's after he had already won his three and already had his full fledged career. He didn't have that to get him over. Big difference. So when people come here and come up with these LeBron, he's GOAT mess, they gotta do their homework. There is no homework being done. I hope they only play one more game this year because the Lakers are embarrassing. They don't have no business playing with Minnesota. That's a bad matchup, too physical. And even if you do win tonight, you gotta go back there. You're not beating them in Minnesota because Anthony Davis is coming. They just a better team. If I think JJ Redick would be quick to throw the towel in. If they win, I will give Jimmy Butler top tier props. I will say first ballot Hall of Famer. And I will say that he has arrived into Dennis Rodman, Ricky Henderson, Deion Sanders territory because then this would really put him in that category of a guy that you need that could get you to where you're trying to go. Because then he'd be a hired hand that it really would. But it's not going to happen though. They're not better than Denver, and they're not. What that Denver team I saw last night, they're not better than them. Get by Minnesota, I don't. If everything goes right, and then they're not better than OKC. Magic was not a good defender. That's a fact. And Cooper. But first of all, let me answer that in just a second. Maxwell's talking out the side of his behind. He's trying to rewrite history. The bottom line is who won the championships and how they play. Everybody was covering something. Cedric Maxwell has that MVP, the Finals MVP, and he riding because he played with the Celtics. No one was breaking their necks to get him. He just trying to regurgitate stuff to start stuff. Who I'd rather have? Clay. Clay was a better player overall. It's just injuries and not being able. Because remember, come on now. I'm gonna tell you like this. I like Jimmy Butler a whole lot, and actually, him and Clay are actually comparable because they're more sidekicks to the alpha. But come on now, Prime Peak Clay was the only dude that I thought that could have gotten between Wilt Chamberlain and Kobe Bryant as far as the 100 to 81 because he did it without dribbling the ball. He was ridiculous with his offense, but his defense was nothing to sneeze at. He was bad. Iggy, because Iggy with Golden State fit, and he went to Miami and fit, and he was a legit player. I remember Cornbread Maxwell. He was good and tough and feisty and all that, but no one sat around. And Iggy carried more. Iggy did more. Iggy was a good fit in Denver. Iggy was legit. Better scorer too. I like Cedric Maxwell, but as a style, but Maxwell. Because aside from hitting a couple of shots, he fit in good with Chicago. But then what happened to his career? We saw what happened in Philly with him and Iverson. He said chasing with Allen Iverson was a headache. You know, he didn't deliver like he thought he would. Well, I know where you live in the Hornets. I understand. I understand. And I like ball, but their season is always over by Halloween. And that's only like 2 games in. They just suck. I mean, I don't know why after Kimball Walker and all that, they just fell off. They really fell off. Boston got a good chance. They look impressive. Jason Tatum was balling last night. They should be on a mission. I think they're going to be hard to beat. I think they're going to be hard to beat. I don't be surprised if they come out and do it. What's happening? How you doing, T Dub? They if they finish the Lakers off pretty quickly, they could be a problem. Because Anthony Edwards is exactly what the NBA needs. Young, energetic, full of energy, robust, and believe it or not, I didn't think about it at the time, but Randall is becoming a good fit for that. It was a problem in this series, so So I think they can. Hey, because let's be realistic. OKC aside, it's fair game from 2 through 8 to whoever. So he could go ahead and do it. They definitely been waiting on Luca. I can tell by their defensive schemes. They're nudging him. They're baiting him. They're goading him. They're not going to be worried about Golden State. So the greatest hornet out of them two would be Glenn Rice. He came up big for them. I like Kimba a lot, but Kimba's one of those guys that has an asterisk because it was an incomplete. And I don't know why his career faded like it did. He should have been. But I got to say Glenn Rice. Like them both, though. But I got to say Rice, though. And he's exactly what the NBA needs. They need an American-born player who's athletic, who got that kind of attitude, that kind of burst, the conversation he's got. He's coming, yo. He's coming, and he's sending the old man home. And if he gets by LeBron and Luca, then Curry's next. And you kind of hope this happens because that's how you build legacies. You hoping that's the case. He's tough. He's feisty. He's a fighter. He's coming. They got the kind of team that if they play to their strengths, they're a problem. They are a problem because they can shoot that thing. They big on the perimeter. They can handle the rock. As long as they don't get caught doing any dumb, goofy things, and they just strictly keep the ball in front of them, and they stay with that attitude and aggression, daddy can go. I would welcome that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's fit there to be some new team to come along that no one sees, and that would be perfect. I would like to see them do it. I don't have a doggy in the race. I just answered the question that I thought, but I'd welcome that, and you know he'd be chopping it up with him. Okay, I can understand it. If we're talking on the offense in totality, yeah. If you come on here trolling, you got to go. I don't have no time for that. No disparaging remarks. So we're going to keep a professional adult up in here. Ant is, yeah, I like to see the young man on a mission. I like to see him on a mission. Well, if they when you say destroy, you're thinking that it's gonna be like the what happened with Cleveland and Miami. That ain't gonna happen. I hope not. But then again, we don't never know what these matchups are like until we see the totality of the series, so we don't know. But I don't think you'll see anyone get destroyed. Just like that. What happened with Cleveland, and Miami? I don't think that's a 1-on-one or Boston in Orlando. Usually, you're not gonna or what OKC in Memphis. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I just think that the Timberwolves got a good enough team that I think the realistic the Timberwolves could come out. That could come out. They could. You know, they could. So we'll see. We'll see. This is I don't have a dog in it, but I'm saying I wouldn't mind it. But the West could be open. If OKC don't deliver, then you got to worry about Minnesota and Denver and Golden State. That would be the three. And I will sorry you Laker fans, even if y'all miraculously make a run, you ain't gonna fit to win no chip this year. So I wouldn't have picked. If you've been watching this season, they've been the best two teams. And to me, I wouldn't mind if they did like a best of two or three the next 3 or 4 years because OKC got a deep team. Shea is getting better with each year, which is scary. Chad Holmgren, Hartenstein. Great pickup. Alice Caruso. I like their bench. I like Williams. I like what they got. Cleveland got five guys who can score 15 a game. So you how you know. I was pretty surprised. Well, he's been playing long enough, so that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise at all. Tony Parker played a lot of playoff games, so that's not surprising. Oh no, no, no. Well, actually, I disagree. I would have seen OKC. I wouldn't have seen Cleveland. Cleveland was more of a surprise, not OKC, because OKC was very good last year, and Shea's been progressing each year. But the Cleveland thing caught me off guard. He was. He was. That teardrop was one of the most lethal shots I've ever seen. Yeah, I know what you mean, Mike. You know, I didn't see Cleveland, but I definitely saw OKC. Because I look at Cleveland like a second round casualty. Because I thought Donovan Mitchell was one of those guys that I wasn't ever 100% sure on. But the way they look right now, not because they spanked up on the Heat, who that haven't been my team, but uh, they got, if those guys play like that, they're going to be hard to beat. Especially to me, Jared Allen is an X factor. He can mine the low post. Cleveland got a squad. They got the kind of team that LeBron James would be begging to crawl back to go to. I'm just saying. Don't be surprised. He's like, can I get a job with y'all? He had that teardrop. He had that teardrop. The only problem with Tony Parker is sometimes he get cute on the perimeter and he get his pocket snatched. And that's the reason why he got in Pop's doghouse, because they did actually consider trading him after they beat the Nets. They actually wanted to treat him for Jason Kidd because he was a little sloppy. And that was one of the things that kind of got him frustrated. You know, when he played his best, he was something else. But when he got try those little cutesy plays, that's what got him in trouble. I saw it a couple of times. That's how people leaned on him. You know, they kind of crouch him and crowd him. But he could move, and he had that teardropper. You know, he played at a high level. So it would have been interesting if he played in this day and time. I hated the fact that he ended his career with the Hornets, though. That was corny and embarrassing. But San Antonio let him go, so you know he should have retired a Spur, just like Duncan Robinson and Ginobili. Guys like that don't deserve to be on no other. They should all retired. He was crazy to want to play because they didn't end up going to Saudi Arabia. And you, unlike Kawhi, that wasn't going to work. And you were too old and too past the pull date. So that's all. But anyway, I did like Tony Parker though. TP was cool. Frenchie. We used to call him the Frenchman. Mm-hmm. Appreciate everybody coming on. It's a good verse. So I got the views and everything. So feel free to comment, hit more likes and everything, and feel free to chime in. Please don't be no trolls though, because trolls don't last. And anyone making no disrespectful remarks. He can play. Their problem is that they couldn't match the defense. They couldn't match that intensity. That's what happened last night. Zubac's got a nice game, and actually the Lakers had him. Imagine if they had him right now. If Giannis had him right now, problem that he runs into is that Kawhi and Harden are so inconsistent, and you really can't gauge what they're doing. But he's legit though. I like Zubac, but he doesn't. You know, again, they went against a better team, and his 27 didn't really have make a dent because Kawhi couldn't turn it on and Harden couldn't turn it on last night. So that's the problem. But Zubas can play though. You know, so at least they got a center in LA, unlike the other LA team. Mm-hmm. Because that's a big thing when you got a guy who can flush and finish and give you stuff. Better than what Brook Lopez doing in Milwaukee. I told you that Giannis has got to be very heated and frustrated. So anyway, should be. He should be. I think that was embarrassing, but I'm not surprised though. I think it was the Saints coach who did it though. I think it was the Sun. I think it was the Saints, but it's definitely a story that I got to touch on. Yeah. Okay. Was it? But I thought it was the. I thought it was the Saints, but yeah. Either way, it was lowbrow. It was a tacky turkey move, and it should have never happened. But somebody in the powers that be wanted to make an example out of him, and they pretty much what they did. They pretty much punked him, and they did. The NFL did. That was a roast. Hate to say it, but when I think about how he had to wait and the humiliation, it was definitely something else that went on with that. So, but thank you for letting me know. I will do a video about that. I'll get into that one tonight. Um, because of the severity of it, it was pretty severe. And someone got his phone number and did it on live. See, that was embarrassing. Cleveland needs so much help, it ain't even funny. Bryce Young is I. He's I. He look right now. He looks like a double Junior Whopper version of what you call it with Arizona. Why he's not? Why am I not getting his? Thinking about getting him mixed up right now. That's who he remind me of. That's who he remind me of. He make me think of a broke version of him so far. Kind of moves like him too. You know. So Carolina is just hoping that something will fall in line. Though, but you don't want to be doing a lot of quarterback shuffling. The thing about it with the running backs is because people are trying to slowly bring it back when it never should have been out of style. Because of the mobile quarterback, there was this notion that we really don't want to run no more and like that. But then you see a cat like Saquon Barkley, you see some of the others having years, and it's like you would be dumb not to. So you still need a running game. But there was this romanticism to kind of downplay it. Kyler Murray's who I'm thinking about. Kyler Murray, because Young reminds me of a broke version of Kyler Murray. That's who it reminds me of a bit. But Young was getting better after he got benched like 5 times. He did start throwing all those bad picks for Carolina. They just don't have a good team. The key is how they start their season, not how they end it. So we'll see. They don't get drafted high anymore. That used to be the norm. If you grew up in a certain NFL, that was the norm. Yeah, yeah, I hope so. Jay Will. You asking me about Aaron Rodgers? You know what I think about Aaron Rodgers. Needs to go sit his behind down somewhere and don't come out. Always trying to hold somebody hostage. What's he gonna do that he ain't done the last 5 years? Because he stunk it up his last 2 years in Green Bay, and he looked broke down with the Jets. So I got to go back to when he was legit. So no, still isn't waiting on Santa Claus at this raise. There's nothing's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's a wrap. doesn't bother me because again, they do dumb enough. First of all, bringing them in that division, you ain't gonna beat Cincinnati this year. You're not gonna beat Baltimore, and I got a feeling you'll be battling Cleveland at the bottom. You know, Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but they want Mike Tomlin gone. He's got to see the time ticking, because even though you finish at 500 and you get that token first week at the playoffs, you're not a threat to nobody. And Aaron Rodgers, this is not 2015, 2020, 16. So he's dusty now. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. I can again when I tell anybody when you get drafted, it's all about the system you're in and the coaches and so on and so forth. It's that's all. Jacksonville Ravens. I don't know what that means because the Jaguars stunk it up last year. I don't know what that gonna mean. They did get Hunter, so that'd be a good fit, but I don't know. So I don't know. Appreciate that though. Heads up though about the whole thing with the Sanders thing. I'll have to do a video on that though, because that was pretty embarrassing to say the least. Appreciate the poll numbers have been great. We got more views coming through. It's a great day so far. The last day of April is definitely looking good. Definitely looking good. Good energy in here. Because I'm definitely gonna come back tomorrow. Let's see what we got so far. Okay. So we're gonna see what we're working with. So aside from a few trolls, we've had a good day in here. Of those three, that's a toughie too, because man, they all overrated to me for different reasons. And I think the first two overachieved. If I go by stats, it's Aikman. But yet he got more out of what he got. He did finish and lead his team. Rogers and Breeze came from easier eras to dominate the divisions and also the NFC. But they only got two Super Bowls. No, I wasn't surprised at it because I'll tell you a story. When his rookie year, they were 1-15. He stunk. He they won big, but that was after the fact. But if you go at 89, if you go to 99, they were marginal. And also take this in consideration. He didn't have quarterbacks aside from certain guys that were throwing 30, 40 touchdown passes. That was not what he was to do because they had Emmett and they ran more of a strategic. So his is more of an even Steven career. But I'll say this though, he overachieved. Those other two turkeys underachieved. So that put that in consideration because they should have had what he had with the three chips and at least about 4 or 5 Super Bowl appearances. So that's where he gets an edge far as that. So if I'm gonna say more overrated, that'd probably be Aaron Rodgers. But Breezing right there. Well, he was accurate. He could throw pinpoint passes. He wasn't great. No, you asking me, is he Roger Staubach? No. Do I think if Tony Romo wins a Super Bowl or two that I got him over Aikman? Yes. If Dak Prescott won a Super Bowl or two, would I have him over Aikman? Yes. But he came up clutch when he had it. But do I think Romo could have been considered? Yes. I seen him play because Aikman was not the best quarterback I saw, and the Cowboys. I Staubach got him beat, but Aikman came up big. His accuracy and he came up big and he played tough through things, but he's not the best that I've seen. It's one of them situations where you're top two, but by default. But if the others had been on point, if Romo had been on point and Dak been on point, yeah, he couldn't play in the cold. The Chargers always had some kind of issue. His stats were staggering. I watched. I mean, when he had Wes Chandler, Charlie Joyner, John Jefferson, and Kellen Winslow the senior, who was a precursor to Tony Gonzalez and to Kelsey and to Sharp and all those guys at tight end to Gronk. Athletic, incredible tight end. Still probably the greatest football game I seen in the NFL was 1982. That game in the Orange Bowl. That game was crazy. 38-35 Chargers won. That was an incredible, electrifying game. One of the best football games I ever seen. If he don't make mistakes, yes, because if he doesn't turn the ball over or try to be cute, and I know Jimmy Johnson would have tore off in his behind because Jerry Jones loved Romo, loved him, loved him, loved him, and really wanted him to stay. And he was a better talent to me. He was mobile. He could do a lot. It's just that he got caught. Like that game against the Broncos when he went against Peyton Manning, he threw that bad interception. He was dueling with him, but he had a tendency to kind of just get cute, and it just and he just did things. He's a great announcer. They'll give him the Hall of Fame for that. Should have been a better quarterback. That game against Seattle, that bobble, the Dez Bryant catch that wasn't. It's always like the guy was close to a cigar, but he was an ashtray away that went away, and he couldn't drop the buds. And that's how I kind of look at him because he had it. Oh yeah, I think that if you put him on there with that team, you know, because the cats love that cat. But I don't. But see, this is the problem with Romo. If he was as poised as Dak Prescott, Prescott would actually be a probably better because he was like almost a black version of Aikman with the poise. Except his inconsistency is his problems and his bad picks and his stat pattern. But if Romo had Dak's poise, and if Dak Prescott had Romo's, you know, um, ability to create, you'd have the ultimate quarterback in Cowboys history and probably one of the top five quarterbacks ever. So that's what I'm looking at it in totality. So that's how I look at Romo. He's a frustrating cat, though. Mm-hmm. Very frustrating. But yeah, Aikman was accurate. He was tough, and he fit. But he took some growing pains when he first got there. They stunk. And he had to take that for the team. But they got on pretty quick, though. I will give Jimmy Johnson props. It took him a couple years, but once they got going, they got rolling. Steve Walsh was the quarterback, but Jimmy Johnson, they believed in Aikman. Aikman was the moneymaker. So I hope I answered that question. hear that name mentioned too much around these quarters, but no, no Diddy. This court case is coming up in a couple weeks though, so that should be interesting. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Starbuck was poised. Starbuck was pre Joe Montana, pre Mahomes, pre Brady. He fit those stars too. I mean, he just had an aura about him. And remember, one, that Pittsburgh Super Bowl that the 76 was close. And then that one that Jackie Smith dropped that ball in the end zone, that tight end, he almost would have been 4-0 in the Super Bowl, 3-1 at worst. So, you know, he had a couple winnable Super Bowls too that against Pittsburgh that just one thing or the other. So he was clutch and he made the Cowboys cool. Okay, I think I'll be on for about 3 or 4 more minutes before I'm going to head out. I'll give it about 3 more minutes. I've had a great day today. Today has been fantastic. I appreciate everyone that's come through. The views have been going great. The poll question, surprisingly one sided. I thought Tyrese Halliburton's daddy was embarrassing, but other people look at it differently. I don't know. But anyway, so, but yeah, I like Starbuck a lot. I'm a huge Starbuck fan. One of the best quarterbacks I ever saw. Just had an aura about him, and that whole thing with the Cowboys was just so romanticized. It was like a novel. So, he made that star and that thing shine. He got hurt. Wish him and Tony Dorsett could have ran together for a few years. I thought that would have been something. No one talks about Danny White, who was the backup quarterback, who had pretty good stats. Just wasn't clutch worth nothing, but he did get a three straight NFC Championship games. He got more than Romo and Dak, so even though you'll say me that Dorsett was there and Drew Pearson and Tony Hill in defense, but he still led the team. There's something to be said about that because Dak Prescott has never been to an NFC Championship game. Romo didn't either, so it does got to count for something. Except in Cowboy Land, they don't do runner ups and second places and third. They either first or nothing. So that's what's up. So, all right, continue to hit the like, subscribe. Appreciate everybody coming through. This has definitely been a bonanza of a day. What's up? Okay, I'll give you another. I've been on for over an hour because I was getting ready to check out. So I'll be on for another 10 minutes because I got to go and give me some 10, 15 minutes. I'll stay on for a little while longer because you coming on. I was just getting ready to sign off. But I'm glad to see you, Charlene, because I don't know when you're going to be on. And I come on like sometime a little bit early. It was like on like an hour early. So, but I'll stay on just a little bit longer. I'm working on some videos. I got a lot of stuff to do. You think Shaq? He wrong. Wrong because of the kind of volatile nature. Not because of the age range per se. People can look at that, but it's because of the volatile nature. It's like he's telling these women and he has this aggressive behavior and he's putting hands on. You can't do that. The woman tell you no, you tip your cap and keep it moving. You can't be grabbing and talking about why and how come. He forgot he's to these people, big black dude putting hands on. That's not going to be acceptable. So he wrong. He trying to work both sides of the fence. He trying to shuffle and jive for white folks, and on the other hand, he trying to act like he hood can. You can't do both because this comedy act ain't gonna work. They spend a lot of money in corporate America to see you up there and you just act a fool. And then, yeah, they going to clown you. Besides, he done something to tick somebody out because now they coming after him where they don't want nothing to do with him no more. So that tells me right there he messed with the wrong person. Money got funny and they done with him. That's what's up. When they start to pull the rug up under you and you black, that's what's up. So he got the rug and the carpet pulled up under him and he don't know what to do. Well, stop acting dumb. Don't give them no reason. But first of all, stop taking their money because they try to tell you that this game is a setup. Yeah, I heard about him pleading insanity, and there is truth to that, but everybody in that industry is insane. And what else is new? The problem that he gonna run into is that he's trying to go to a psych ward. He's hoping that he covers his cheeks. That's what that's about. But you gotta be kind of demented to do the stuff that he did at some of those parties. Now, did he break? Was it like the reek all that? No. But you gotta be kind of demented to partake in certain things because you gotta know that this ain't gonna end well, and that's what he's up against. And they're making him be the fall guy for something that's way bigger than he could even imagine. That his pea brain ain't that deep. So there is deeper people that work with this. I'm not gonna really touch that subject until we get to the case itself, because there's gonna be a lot of leaks about what he's gonna do. We just have to wait for it to all play itself out. But I'm not surprised to hear that he's pulling this one. If he does pull it, more power to him. Because I do think there's something that's not right, though. That's a fact. So, hope you're doing all right, Charlene. And appreciate you coming through. Glad we're getting a chance to talk. Because I'm coming back on tomorrow. Probably around this time tomorrow. I got to step out tomorrow, so it'll be a bit later. So maybe tomorrow, around this time, I will definitely be on for sure. But if you keep on talking, I'll give you a few more minutes. I got a lot of eyeballs in this one, so this is good. This is one of my best visual views that's come up in a while. So there's people out here watching. Regardless if they say anything, they're watching. So it's all good. Poll question, all that did it. It starts May 12th, is what I heard. Originally, it was supposed to be May 5th, May 12th. It's supposed to last about a couple months. I think there will be another plea deal. I think there'll be something. I don't think they got everything in totality against him, but they got enough to get him. I think they would have said, hey, if you take a plea, we'll give you a 15 and we'll probably get you out in about 7 or 8.5 because you already served almost a year. He said, no, he's going for the gusto. Good luck with that. I know they're trying to bury him because they're using the videotape with Cassie, and that really has no place in the courtroom, but it's an agenda. Very biased, and they're trying to turn his lights out. That's what's up on that. And they can't say he didn't bring a lot of it on himself because there's a lot going on. But I know there's a lot of other people involved in this too. He ain't that smart. He doesn't have the deepest IQ, so we know there's more going on. We know. So, but anyway, we'll see though. We shall see. It won't be long now, and that'll be covering up something. Vulnerable, and they want to be part of something, and that's part of the industry, and it's what they do. I mean, if I put $50,000 of cash in front of you, gave you clothes, a new whip, put you up in a condo and you get to party and if you're not used to it, that's the reality. You can call them stupid. It's easy to say the stuff after the fact, but put yourself in those shoes. You're young, 20 something, late teen. You ain't never been off the block. I bring you out to La La Land. You do whatever, and all you gotta do is this, and you get part of that lifestyle, and that's how they sell it. And then it gets normalized because it's a community that normalizes it. That's what you're dealing with. It's normalizing a situation that ain't really normal, but that's what we got. Both, same thing. He is part of what you're saying about people. It references him. Vulnerable because he wanted to be ahead. He started off in the mailroom. I remember his whole story like yesterday. I remember the Stacy Lattisaw video, Nail It to the Wall, where he's a backup dancer out the mailroom. He was a video extra, and then he was with Andre Harrell, and then they passed him on to Clive. He got passed around, he got pimped, he got hustled. He had put money on him. Okay? So that's what happened. You do those things. I just said what I said because you ain't used to it. You trying to be a hustler and lifestyle. That's what you do. And they put money on you. I can tell you back in 94, there was Billboard magazine, L.A. Reid. They had an interview with L.A. Reid and Babyface, and they said when they grow up, they want to be like Diddy. That's what they verbatim. Yeah, nail it to the wall. Look it up. He had a Gumby. He had a top. I think it was nail it to the wall. He's in the mailroom coming out pushing the cart. He's in a video dancing next to her. It's one of her last videos before she quit the business when she was with Motown. All you gotta do is put Diddy in Stacey Lattisaw video. You'll see it. That's when she got out the business though. She was not about to do cheeks for checks. She wasn't gonna get turned out, and she had already gone through it, and she didn't want to do that. But yeah, and he was internship, and then he moved himself up. So that's the one. Okay, I'm on for 2 more minutes before I got to roll. But yeah, you type that in, you will see it, and you'll be like, oh yeah. You'll know him. There's a younger version of him because that video was out 36 years ago. Mhm. And then that was before that whole Brooklyn Stomp Out party thing, which got swept underneath the carpet with Heavy D and all that. And then, Diddy's always had some darkness associated with him, but, so that's all. A bit of both. A bit of both. He wanted the lifestyle. He's an eligible bachelor. He's living his best country life. He ain't get, and he don't have no structure. You chasing these thoughts, and you trying to clout chase, and you want to be a superstar and a big Willie, and they let you get up there and pay a character, but they also know that you are a stereotypical athlete, loud, country, and wrong, putting your hands all on people's, saying all kinds of ignorant things. And then when they're done with you, then they say, okay, we sweeping this country Bama out. And he didn't see it coming. You ain't smooth like Steve Harvey was with it. But you see, you can't put yourself in a predicament where you playing 304 and you dialing 304 and then trying to be 304 and all that. There's something gonna mess it up. And he had a reputation and a history of doing these sort of things. And then white folks tighten up on you, and they like, look, we paying you good money, boy, and we can't have you doing this. And you can't do like the white guy do. You ain't Matt Lowry, so you can't do that. That's the problem he ran into is that, he forgot his complexion for the protection, for the direction. And that's why he got himself caught up in the stew. Oh, they know he's a money making machine because he's geared towards a common denominator. He sits up there with that whole LeBron standery behavior. And he ha 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 ha. And he was a stereotypical cliche. And it didn't end well. And now he's not going to get locked up. But what's going to happen is they found a money ticket. They figure they catching these brothers like you're getting comfortable, but you can never be. If you're a black man in America and you got money, you can never be comfortable. You can never be free because you got to know it's just a matter of time before they're going to come back and get you. So it's a matter of you having your videotape and your lawyers and you smart because there is no W. They trying to put L's on you. And he got caught with a major L. And he got caught being greedy and thirsty and lost. So yeah, that would be stupidity. And forgetting who you are. Mm-hmm. And for people who don't like that, that's the stone cold facts. I'm not saying that everybody black that has all the situations that are like that, men, but you one thing, all the commonality that brothers better be aware of when you're dealing with money and that's that situation. They feel like they own you. They feel like they can, they watch you. And when they put you in a position, they feel they can snatch it away as quickly as they give it to you. And the reason that people aren't really crying over him is because they looks dumb because he was on that he thought he was better than and he went and played that role and then come to find out that once they were done with him, they was taking all this, taking all that. When he ever come back to ESPN, he'll look like a desperate. And the money ain't gonna be there no more. They done already made their money off of him. They used him when they used Cat Williams. They used him when they had these others speak. So when he started bringing on some of these thoughts that was sitting up there speaking, you know, Amber Rose and some of these others that were just talking all that talk. Well, then that's what they end up selling him as, and that's what he ended up. He pushed himself. So he gotta take that one. So good luck with that. So that's where he's at. And what they always say, a fool and his money will soon part. So don't do nothing. Don't give them no reason to think you dumb. But you open your mouth and you like, huh? They say we got you. So that's the unfortunate reality that Shannon Sharp is in. Shay Shay gonna have to pay to stay out the JJ. That's what's up. You wanna go to the joint, you're gonna have to pay. And when that woman knew she could get 50 out of him and turn down 10, that was cha-ching. That was like open slot season. And now he gonna have to pay a lot of miles to stay quiet. He didn't learn from what Tiger Woods went through, paying all that, you know. Anyway, get ready to call it a day. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and thank you everybody who came through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I will be back on tomorrow. Glad to see you, and thank you for coming on this live stream today. We had a great day. Hope that you are enjoying the sun, and hopefully we will be back. And again, appreciate everyone that took the poll. It was like a crazy poll today. But yeah, that's my thoughts and my takes. And of course, if you want to hit me up on Facebook, you can, because I'm on the bubble, and we can talk more about it. But yeah, that's the thing about Shannon. He really went out like a sucker, and a sucker's born every day. So be careful what you say, what you do out here, because they be watching you, and they definitely ain't gonna be playing with you. And he definitely got caught up in a whole lot of pickle juice. So that's what's up with that. So thanks again to everybody that came through today. Some great questions, some interesting. Last day of April. Take care of yourself. We welcome you into May, and we will catch you in about 24 hours from now. All right.